So here we are 6 months after the initial release of the OnePlus 6T, a fantastic phone that offers so much for under $500, but how has it held up? I could cut this video short right now by saying yes, it has held up superbly, but let's delve in a little further as to why I think the OnePlus 6T might be one of the best phones on the market, even with the 7 and 7 Pro right on the horizon. Externally, the design was only really a refinement over the standard OnePlus 6, but there were a few core introductions and indeed removals. I will bemoan the lack of headphone port as I do use it on other devices. The notification LED too, I loved being able to see exactly what app I needed to check without ever unlocking my device, all due to basic colour coding. I was sad that the Fingerprint Reader also disappeared, and while I was excited by the in-display reader coming in, it's not really great in everyday usage. It can be very temperamental and sometimes it just doesn't work at all. Those 3 core changes aside, the rest of the package is almost as good as it gets, even more so when you factor in that price. The all metal frame and matte finish on the back are just gorgeous. OnePlus has come a long way in the design stakes in a short time, and the unblemished back panel is just stunning to look at. With soft curves, it nestles comfortably into your palm, although I will say that the edges can be a little bit sharp for my hands, although not horrendously so. For me, the side buttons are borderline perfect. They offer just enough clicky feedback and are the ideal position for just about one-handed usage in my experience. The alert slider is still superb and I use this daily and wish we'd see more OEMs adopt it. The ridge button too makes it so easy to find and quickly dip in and out of silent or vibrate modes without ever needing to unlock or even look at your device for that matter. Heading around the side of the frame, and I have found that the Usbc port has had paint chip away from some misplacement of the charge cable, which is something to look out for if you do have the device or you do happen to want to pick it up. For me, the entire hardware package is rounded off by the full HD Plus display, which also includes a soft curve and makes it a joy to use, especially sliding, swiping and tapping. I can't actually fault the AMOLED display, and I will say that since release there are several devices that I do prefer, but this is a good looking panel that doesn't seem to have any major issues. I do wish it would get a tiny bit brighter when using in direct sunlight, but overall the colours and contrast are great in practice. When you're using that display, the 6T just crushes day-to-day performance of even some Snapdragon 855 handsets I've been given some short hands-on time with. Oxygen OS is simply the best and fastest Android skin out there, and I've used a ton of devices since the 6T hit the shelves, and I constantly keep a secondary SIM in this device just because of how good Oxygen OS feels in practice. Even with software updates, plenty of apps installed and extensive usage, I'm yet to see a slowdown. This is a blazingly fast phone, and part of that is down to the powerhouse internals. I would suggest that if you want to pick it up, that you opt for the highest RAM capacity possible. That way you will seriously extend the lifespan of the 6T. That combination with OnePlus now supporting devices arguably longer than even Google, as the OnePlus 3 and 3T are currently testing Android Pie. If you hold out on handsets, then the OnePlus device might be a solid choice. There are also a ton of areas where the 6T still excels, but I can't fully vouch for the camera. Hey, I will say that the camera isn't bad by any stretch. The autofocus is as good as you'll see on any smartphone full stop, which is especially helpful when you need super quick focus on a subject that is moving, for instance. I have to say, colours, contrast and dynamic range within images themselves is also very good. The camera though has a habit of over-sharpening, and in some cases images lack any real sharpness at all. Installing Gcam can help this, but it should never be the solution to camera software that doesn't quite get the best out of the admittedly decent hardware. In low light too, the nightscape mode simply hasn't lived up to its initial promise. The long exposure mode just doesn't hold a candle to even Gcam on the same hardware, showing us that we're just a software update away from pretty exceptional results. I will say that the video modes are arguably better than the stills modes. You get a ton of options to choose from, and the 4K 60 FPS is especially smooth thanks to the usage of OIS, even though at 30 FPS the EIS has been great for the little usage I've given the camera. 1080p modes don't benefit from any OIS or EIS, which is a real shame, so expect some shaky footage if you're moving extensively. The fantastic autofocus is just as good in video recording modes too, so there's no need to worry there. Everywhere else, this device really does live up to the flagship killer moniker. The battery though is probably most definitely one area that puts other manufacturers to shame. Even with 6 months of extensive usage under its belt, I can manage a full day of heavy or intense usage and still have enough left over to keep me going. I regularly see on-screen time reach the 7+ hour mark, and when I do need to top up, the formerly named dash charging blasts the battery back up to a respectable level in mere minutes. I've not seen much in the way of battery fatigue even after 6 months of daily usage, and that can't be said about every other device on the market. So to wrap up, the OnePlus 6T might only have been an iterative update over the OnePlus 6, but it still remains one of the best devices on the market, even 6 months after release. The design nuances with the software experience, even despite a camera that has up and down performance, make for a handset that takes on the premium market and crushes them in the most important area, and that is everyday experience. For me, there is no better device on the market for under $500, and although the OnePlus 7 is right around the corner, the 6T is still one hell of a purchase. If you're a 6T owner or potential 6T owner, get down there in the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Of course, like the video and then subscribe for more content just like this. But as per usual, this is Damien from 9to5 Google saying thanks again for watching, and I will speak to you later.